Hi everyone, welcome to another amazing episode of Conversations with IfeTalks. And today we're going to have our podcast series. The last one was amazing. The feedback great, and I know you guys loved it. Today we're going to be talking about something very important. Motherhood. Yeah, motherhood. I know that this topic, to some it might be a sensitive topic, to some might be exciting, to some might be painful. Whatever it is that motherhood means to you, we're going to be talking about it. We're going to be discussing in every area. My name is Folarin-Ottun, and I'm excited to welcome you on this show today. Now, I have a woman who has gone through different journeys in this motherhood phase, right? And she's going to be sharing with us her journey, the good, the bad, the ugly, the failure, the tears, the pain, whatever, everything. So I just want you to sit down and relax. If whatever motherhood means to you, you would see a bit of it or even a lot of it in today's video. So join me to welcome our very amazing guest, the delectable, the beautiful, the awesome, the communicator. You know, when you're looking at people with day, all round, mother, beauty queen, slayonce, babe, soft life. What can I say about this woman? But I'm excited to have Mrs. Moyo Folarin-Ottun in the house today. Welcome, sis. Excited that you are here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being a part of this session. I know that there are a lot of things that you could have been doing, but you're here, giving your time and, being able to impact people with your journey and your story. So thank you for coming, Moyo.
Thank you so much for having me. Such a delight to be here.
Yay.
And you're doing amazing work.
Thank you. We need to hear it sometimes, so thank you. All right. So, we're talking about motherhood today. And I know that this topic, and I thought about that, who best to tell us the raw, unfiltered truths about this journey of motherhood, because I know it's all encompassing. It's an exciting phase. It can be a sad phase. You can cry. You can smile. Everything. Motherhood is like everything, right? But let's start from you. Tell us a bit about yourself. Who is Moyo? Let's meet you. Let's know you.
Okay. My name is Moyo Folarin-Ottun, and I consider myself to be a graceful oak. One who has been built to withstand different kind of storm. I'm a nurturer. On some days I'm a chef. Some days I'm a communicator. Some days a voiceover artist. Other days I'm a mom. Other days I'm a wife. I'm different things on different days, depending on what day you meet me. But in a nutshell, I am a nurturer.
Wow. Okay. These are people that you say they have multiple, multiple expressions, right? And I love it because one day I'm going to even talk about that. So thank you. So good to see you. And yes, she's a chef. If you taste her spaghetti, what's that spaghetti called? Stir-fried pasta. You need to order it. I'm not even joking, no cap. Like that stir-fried pasta, just order it. Say it's from me. When you order it, don't pay. I'll pay for you. Oh, wow. You get it. Don't worry about it. But I'm not joking.
Her Instagram handle is at IfeTalks. Just in case you want to hold that back.
By the way, what's your own handle? Because if they want to reach out to
Savor.
Yes.
At Sizzling Savor.
At Sizzling Savor. No jokes. I mean, good food, great food, you would enjoy it. So, what does motherhood mean to you?
Wow. I mean, this is a very deep question. And to be honest, not until I had my last baby did I really understand what motherhood, means. And I just began to understand that, it's beyond getting pregnant, and having children. And, the Holy Spirit started to teach me that motherhood is like one of the highest forms of calling that any person can ever have. And it's just even beyond having your own children, right? Because you see, I see motherhood as a privilege because God gives you access, to another destiny, another life entirely. So it is you, stewarding and nurturing. So motherhood to me means priesthood. Motherhood to me means a lifetime calling, a lifetime assignment, being assigned to a destiny to build, to nurture, to take care of, to be responsible for. And not until, these last babies I had did I realize that, motherhood, there's something about motherhood, it gives. So motherhood is sacrificial. Motherhood is selfless. You can't nurture souls, you can't nurture destinies without, giving. And it's, like I said, it's beyond having your own child, because it's just like your siblings. If you're a first child, you just feel, this natural calling, to just always be there, to always, make sure that they're okay, make sure that, it's just the highest form of selflessness. And
amazing. I love that part. Motherhood is giving, is selfless, is sacrificial, because truly, that thing is truly, truly sacrificial. So how many children do you have?
Well, I do have 4 children.
Whoa! Yeah. Like 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 amazing girls.
Wow! Did you plan to have 4 kids? Like, you always knew that you're going to have 4 children?
No. In the scheme of things.
So life happened.
Well, I feel like God sometimes just has a great sense of humor. I don't know when you just say never, it can't be me. God is like, okay, no problem. Okay, I have a package for you. And that's how we ended up at 4 children.
Wow. What did you think you were going to have?
Max 2.
And you doubled it. I love it. So how has the journey of motherhood been for you? Well, how would you describe it?
Wow, this is a very deep question. But I would say it has been a lot of things, because there's been the good days. There's been the days where I ask myself, who really sends me? Like, what am I doing with this amount of children? And there are some days that my children exhibit certain characters, some particular traits, and I feel very fulfilled. So, I have the fulfilling days, and, one of the things I'm trying to do now is to make sure that those fulfilling days, they prevail much more than, the bad days, the stressful days, because I can tell you, motherhood gets pretty overwhelming, and if you're not intentional about finding fulfillment in it, you might not, enjoy the joy that comes with motherhood. So, in a nutshell, motherhood has been fulfilling and at the same time overwhelming.
I love the honesty. And before I continue with motherhood, I want to talk a bit about pregnancy. People have different pregnancy journeys and stories. I have this friend, when she's pregnant, it's like she's not pregnant. She's jumping up and down, going everywhere. But as in first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, putting to bed, everything. Wow. I'm remembering my own, like, I will first be on the floor faint. It will be like the heaven has fallen, like I'm never going to survive. So I want to know, tell us a bit about your pregnancy journey, childbirth, before we go back into motherhood.
Wow. I would try my best to be as brief as possible.
Please do.
But it's it's a journey. I think that I've had 3 pregnancies, and I can tell you that 3 of them weren't the same. Nothing similar. I think my first pregnancy, my first trimester was not so bad. Even though I was weak, and then at some point I had like threatened miscarriage, and then I had to be on bed rest for a month. And after that, I was fine up until the end. And it was at the end where, I had gone for antenatal and just maybe complained to the doctor that, what was my complaint? Okay, that I wasn't feeling the kicks as it would come. And he was like, oh, let's get a scan done. And it was from that scan that, it was discovered that the amniotic fluid was on 0.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And so they had to schedule me for like a CS immediately. I didn't even want to have my baby that day, but the baby came, and that was one. Then number 2, the thing about baby number 2 is that I was sick for at least 2 months. Yes, I was sick. I was very sick. In fact, the day I found out I was pregnant,
that's when the sickness started.
I'd been going to the hospital. I was feeling funny, and then, the doctor will say, let's do a pregnancy test. And I'm like, no, I'm not pregnant. I can't be pregnant. I was even bragging. And on this particular day, I'd gone from the office, like, I'm still not feeling better. Something is not right. And doctor was like, Miss Folarin, I think that you should let us, get a pregnancy test done.
Everywhere first blow.
And so, I had gone back in to review the test results, and doctor was like, congratulations. That time we're just easing out of COVID, so there was still the face mask, and I wear glasses, so I was actually crying, but the doctor did not know. And I got out from the hospital. I was supposed to board a bus. I actually walked from the hospital. I mean, if you are familiar with P&G Hospital in Abulegba, I walked from P&G Hospital to Jonathan Coker Road.
Wow.
And I was crying.
Wow.
Because I just felt like, no, it's not possible.
Wow.
But then I consoled myself by buying amala. That's the only way that I confirmed that I was really pregnant.
But why were you crying?
Because I just felt like I wasn't ready. I had bragged like my first child is going to be 5 if I have another child.
Oh, so, okay, you're part of them. Okay, go ahead.
That one, it just, it took me off guard. And you see, that night I got home, I felt, in fact, the sickness tripled. It was as though the thing was just waiting for me to realize what was going on. And, that particular pregnancy, at some point, God had told me when I was going to give birth. And when I had done the calculation of when I was going to have that child, I realized that it was not anytime close to the EDD. And so, I would always tell my husband, babe, he didn't get it, like, are you okay? How can somebody plan to give birth before, I didn't know what was actually waiting for me. And so I had gone for antenatal as usual. And then I had complained of pelvic pain. It was so intense. My doctor even noticed the discomfort. And then he was like, you know what, we have to keep you, just check you, just to be sure that everything is fine and all. He even did like an examination, and he was like, oh, you're not in labor. And the following day, which was a Sunday, there was a word round, and the MD was just asking, oh, what's her case? And the doctor was like, oh, pelvic pain. And he was like, oh, has she done like a previous CS before? And he was like, yes. And he was like, please let me examine. And the moment he examined, he was like, no, I suspect that there's a scar rupturing on the inside. Please, let's bring out this baby. Let's not waste any time. And, we got into the theater, and by the time they cut me open, one of the things that, the doctor had said was, scar yet to rupture, meaning the scar is actually ruptured.
Wow.
And, at that time, they brought out my baby. There was no cry, nothing. And, the midwife in the theater just said, take that baby out. And immediately my BP went up, because I'm like, what has happened to the child that I carried for 9 months? What's going on? Technically 7 months, because I had her 34 weeks.
Wow.
Yes, 34 weeks. And, at the end of the day, there was an imminent uterine rupture, which led to baby having loss of oxygen. And, she had to place some oxygen. She had a hole in her heart. I mean, it was a lot of drama, but we're grateful that, we overcame that stage. And now you see that the difference between the first and the second, massive. Then the third one, which is like, the one that I always say to myself that if this had happened to me first, like if this was my first pregnancy,
you will not even try.
Nothing can make me have another child. Like nothing. Because first of all, the first trimester was bloody. I could not eat. I could not, I felt like I've been through hypermeresis gravidarum, but this one was
elevated
on a deeper level. And that's because, it was a multiple pregnancy. And so it's usually double. I think I was sick for about 4 months, if I'm not, because I got better in the 6th month.
Wow.
Yes, so I was that sick.
Wow.
Couldn't take in fluids, anything. It was just so bad. And the delivery. I'm just grateful to God that, I walked through the valley of the shadow of death, and I'm still here standing because it was tough. And I must say that mothers, women go through a lot.
We need to give you your flowers because this story is...
I think that if we celebrate Mothers Day like 10 times in a year is really okay.
It is.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. I mean, I like to hear stories like this where people share struggles of pregnancy, because pregnancy is not beans. And I know that some people have it very easy. It's just like a walk in the park. I celebrate you all, right? And even though it's not a walk in the park, I still celebrate you, because like someone says, this too shall pass. So it's always get better.
Yeah.
So can you share some, now in the motherhood journey, some real life struggles, maybe 1, 2 scenarios, examples, some real struggles that you've had to deal with in this journey of motherhood, and how you're able to, cope with it, manage it, and all that?
So I'd say first off, you see that phase where you're trying to get a hang of how does this thing work? That phase where you're trying to put your life together, and then there's a child that needs you as much as possible. That's like one of the toughest phase, I think, for most women. And I'm not sure I've gotten a hang of it 100%, but I would say that, I'm a work in progress. One of the things I've learned to do on this journey is actually to be selfish. I know that I said that motherhood is sacrificial. Yes, don't drag me. But then I realized over time that a healthy mother, a happy mother will raise healthy and happy children. A frustrated mother will raise frustrated children. There is no way you can escape it. So one of the things I've learned to do, I've learned to delegate. I've learned to, whatever my money can pay for to buy me comfort, I do it.
Awesome.
Just so that I can live for me too. Because there is one thing about, attending to the baby, making sure the baby is fine, especially if that's not even your first child. Maybe you have like other children, that you have to cater to their needs and all. You just find yourself giving and giving and giving, and at the end of the day, you're exhausted. I used to say that when I step into the house, my children, all of their worries, they feel like, our savior is here.
Yeah.
So they're just mommy. And sometimes I'm triggered, to be honest, because I'm like, daddy is just there chilling. Like, just call your daddy, So one of the things that I do is that because I have help in place, a structure for help in place, I'm able to, take time off, step away from them. I love them, but then I love me too.
Yeah.
And, it's important to pour into me, because you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to make sure that your cup is full, just so that you can even raise wholesome children. Because if you are here and there, I can't get it, I'm not okay. Your children, they will not be okay. They will not be okay. I mean, I meet a lot of people ask me, you have 4 children, how do you do it? Because they see my children outside, they're like, you're trying. I'm like, well, it's the power of help, power of delegating, and power of choosing me.
Awesome. Wow. Okay, so talking about support system, husband, your husband. I mean, how has this role, helped in this journey of motherhood?
I would say that I'd like to even give a shout out to my husband, because he doesn't joke with his children. He loves them a lot. And, there's this intentionality that comes with, being there for them, being present. Like I said, in times when I'm choosing to be selfish and there's an exam, I'm like, babe, can you help them revise? Because, and, he does it, with so much passion, even though it's going to be different from the way I do it. I mean, but then he does it, with so much passion, and most times I even see that with his method, they are able to remember. Because somehow these children, they see finish. They know the people that they really regard. And, so I see that whenever, he does it with them, there's just this more, she remembers everything. You ask her, she's like, I'm like, okay, daddy's touch. You get? So there's this intentionality that comes with, him being a father. And I think that it has made him more softer, because maybe because he has girls. And so there's this, softness that he's trying to build around them, just making sure that whatever they are saying now, right, they don't try to settle for less by the time they are grown.
Yeah.
You know, not anybody trying to give them a false idea of what love looks like or what, you know, affirming a child looks like. So for me, I'd say that there's been more intentionality since he has become a father.
I love it. I love it because I know that. So you see all these stickers and smileys. You'll be looking at the man. He's sleeping there with his useless nipples. One me, you know, making it look like men don't do anything. But in that night season, truly, it's the moment that I know that there's some men that actually say they can't do so much. Right? But some men say, okay, just express, I'll feed you, just go and sleep and all that. But it's not a lot. But for the ones that do it, we celebrate you. And you know, still speaking about the struggles. Can you give us an example of when maybe you just cried? I want to know, you know, something that triggered you that you want to burst into tears and then you were like crying. God, what's going on? I want to hear that story.
Well, I have different
stories. Okay, now please share with us one or two.
Different stories because there's been a lot of tears. I can't lie.
Wow.
I think that one major one will be the very night I got back from the hospital after having the twins. You know, because I felt like, oh, it's my third time. I can do it. I can do bad by myself. So I just told my mom, can't sleep. You know, I told the nanny, you know, just chill. I'll be fine in the middle of the night. Mind you, I had a C-section. And so it was in the middle of the night. And the first one had woken up. I had successfully, you know, tried to, you know, feed her. But she wasn't full yet. And then the other one woke up. I started crying. And, you know, I felt very alone at that point. And, you know, I was just trying to, and I just started to cry. I'm like, who really sent me to even give birth to 2 children? I cried so much that by the time my nanny came in, she was scared because she was like, why are you crying so much? What's going on? And immediately, you know, she collected the children because already frustration had set in. You know, the fact that I feel like I was feeling like nobody can actually attend to these children the way that I would, because you know that with one child is different, but with 2, I didn't want anyone to feel like, I'm not there. But I tell you, especially if you have twins, it can't really be balanced. You can only try, but it can't really be balanced. That's like one of the moments where, you know, I really had like a terrible breakdown, and I had it like at different points, different nights, especially when I feel like I'm not slept well and they're crying. So I'm trying them to cry. Let's all cry together.
Wow. Just wow. You know, I think something that we don't talk about a lot is postpartum depression. And I know that a lot of people have experienced it, and a lot of people do not even know what it is because they didn't experience it. And it can be as a result of different things. Some, from the moment the child comes, you're just angry. It's not like this. You're not even stressed. Nothing happened. But I mean, did you ever experience this in any of your, pregnancies, one of your children? Today's show is sponsored proudly by Sizzling Savo. Yes, my guests. If you're looking for healthy food, good food, quality food, maybe for your event, you're having a birthday celebration, for office lunch, you're having a wedding, after party meals, you have an event, whatever the occasion is, your child is doing his or her birthday, it's a burial, whatever it is, bridal shower, baby shower, Sizzling Savo's got you. You just need to reach out to them. Affordable, I promise you, healthy, hot, sizzling, everything about food, whether it's traditional food, continental dishes, whatever it is, you will get it, right? Enjoy it. Tell them that IfeTalks sent you. Happy eating. Now let's go back to the video.
Well, I feel like this third pregnancy, like I'll say, is the pregnancy that really hit me the most. Because the pregnancy came at a time where I felt like I was putting my life together.
Right.
And so it felt like everything has to be on hold. And so after some months, I was, trying to do everything to put myself out there, I didn't want to feel like I'd missed out. I didn't want to feel like I'd lost anything. And I find myself, some nights crying because sometimes some things I would usually do, my body wasn't, able to do them anymore because obviously it's not the same. Do you get? And so, I'll find myself crying. I was depressed. In fact, at some point I felt like a failure. I was feeling like, time had gone. I don't know if I'll be able to catch up, And I think that also social media really doesn't help because, you start to see maybe some of your friends, doing life, and you're feeling like, oh God, what did you do with your life? Like, I mean, sometimes I say, I'm just a baby making machine, it was just how I felt.
Yeah.
Do you get? And those things, they spiraled down, it affected me so much. There are nights where I was depressed. Some nights I don't even want to be around the babies. I'm just like, no, you should just hold them, let me just be. And, I will cry myself a lot, I mean, I think that it just really never got to the point where I thought about harming the children. But I feel like there are some days where I just feel like you people are the cause of what I'm going through.
Wow.
You people are the cause.
Wow.
And but God is helping, to be honest. God is helping. But it's really not easy. Yeah. Because you can have all the help around you and still feel alone. And I felt that.
Wow.
I felt that.
Wow. You can have all the help around you and still feel alone. That's amazing. That one is deep. Wow. Wow. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the struggles. What about the joys? What are the things that excites you most about this motherhood phase that makes you really happy? I know we've talked, I wish we had time to talk a lot about these struggles because I know it's a lot. I wish I could even press on this last thing you said, but we'll invite you for part 2. But tell us about some of the, joyful moments in this journey.
Well, I think that's one of the things that bring me joy the most is, when I open the door and somebody shouts, "Mommy!" It just makes me happy. Even if I'm coming home maybe angry, cranky, stressed and all that stuff, and I open the door and my children running into my arms, it just makes me feel so good. When I look at them, when I see them exhibiting some of the values, that I'm instilling in them, it brings joy. When I go to their school and I'm getting, great feedbacks and they're like, you're doing an amazing job. That is satisfactory for me. Like, it just makes me feel like, okay, at the end of the day, go bad. Like, this motherhood journey is really not bad. Like, so those things, those tiny moments, those moments, "Mommy, can you carry me? Mommy, can you," those things, just bring me so much joy. I mean, when I think about the fact that I have some humans who are not really considerate because they don't care if you're in a bad mood. They don't. They just want you, to attend to them. Sometimes, it's annoying, but sometimes it brings joy to me that somebody will not care about my bad character, but, will still want me to attend to them.
Yeah, okay, I love it. I love that. I mean, so if you had to talk to women right now, maybe some who are even pregnant, some who have 4 children, some who have even 5 or 6, or maybe some who have just 2 or 1. But what would you say about motherhood? What would be like your advice to women about this journey of motherhood? Does it get better? Just tell us.
Well, one of the things I would say is partner with God. To be honest, I don't think that I can do motherhood outside of God. Because you are stewarding a destiny, you are stewarding lives, you are stewarding nations, and you don't want to just do it because this is what you feel is right. But you see, there's something about staying with God and inquiring from God about a child's destiny, and God telling you that, okay, this is who, I have assigned this child to be, and then partnering with God to making sure that that child is all that, God is asking them to be. We look at people that are doing well. I want to believe that their parents, there's something about, knowing, discerning, about a child's life. Like, you know too well that God is saying, if God is saying that this child is for example, this child is a Deborah, you already know the kind of, anointing, kind of gifts that she carries, or he or she carries, and, you're able to nurture and steward, to that which God is calling them to be. You can't really do motherhood outside God, to be honest, because He's the one that gave you the gift. So just stay with Him and ask Him. Because if you do it by yourself, trust me, or you do it by social media standard, you can't get it right.
I love it.
You can't.
I love it. You can't do it outside God. Advice to our mothers, you can't do it outside God. So last question. If you're going to do this journey again, will you do it again? Just go 1, 2, 3, 4 like that?
Never.
Where will you stop?
This is a very dicey question, but I think that I'm just going to have 1 child, to be honest.
She didn't even say 2. Oh my God.
One.
So we can't pray like 2 more into you, like 2 more. Let's make it like 6 or 7. I feel like, I mean, it seems you're very full and you just have something.
Wow,
okay. All right. But I mean, thank you so much, Moyo. It's been an amazing conversation. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your openness. Thank you for sharing the pain, the struggles, and the joyful moments of motherhood. Because I know that sometimes we look at it in, I mean, I know it's not easy to be a mom. Honestly, it's not easy. But I know that it gets better and the joyful days will come. Like, I mean, when they're still babies and they're crying every night, they can't sleep, it's a lot. But after a while, they can get to sleep on their own. You can also get to rest. So it will always get better. So that's it will get better. That phase you're in is not going to last. And whatever the phases will just keep changing. So thank you, Mo, for spending time with us, for sharing with us. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Please like, share with all your friends, subscribe. Yes, share with everybody. Let them know that this topic all deep and they need to hear it. So thank you for being a part of today's episode of Conversation with IfeTalks. I'll see you again at the next episode. Bye for now.